Hey guys, my name is Kirsty and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be showing you my April book haul. Yes, it is late like everything else because I have had university assessments to do. There has been personal things that I have had to deal with, so there haven't been any YouTube videos going up or blog posts or anything like that, so I'm doing them all now. Sorry about the weird angle, by the way. Just there's loads of just stuff down there which I normally film, which is in front of my bookshelf, and I really can't be bothered to move it, so I thought I'd sit on my bed and give you the lovely view of the corner of my room. Today I'm going to be showing you guys all of the books that I bought in April. So there are a lot. I kind of went a bit overboard, to be honest. So we're gonna rush through it. I'm not gonna say anything about the synopses at all. I do have a blog post version of this video that gives all the synopses of the books, so if you want to know more about them then just click on the link below to my blog and you can read the synopses there. So without any further ado, let's just get into it because this is going to be a very long video. So I have split this video up into sections. So the first section of books that I'm going to show you are the graphic novels that I brought in April. And those graphic novels are Paper Girls Volume 4 by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Cheng. I have read volumes 1, 2 and 3. And I think I gave like all of them a 3 out of 5, so it is a very average comic book series. So I thought I'd get volume 4 because I really just want to see where the storyline goes, if it improves. Then I brought Bitch Planet Volume 2. I haven't read Volume 1 yet. I do really want to get around to it very soon because it's just this feminist graphic novel and I'm all about that life. So I thought since I'm probably going to want to binge read them, I am going to buy the second one. And the artwork is very good. There you go, that's just a little peek of it there. So I always love some good artwork because obviously that's the thing that you're going to be looking at the most. Then the other graphic novels that I brought, these two are actually a series. That is Lazarus Volume 1 and Lazarus Volume 2. I brought these because they were $8.99. So it's quite cheap for a graphic novel. I have actually no idea what these are about. They just looked interesting. The artwork again is very dark and gritty and kind of very much captures your attention. So there we go. There is a peek at the artwork there. Like with other graphic novels, I do want to get around to this one really quick. I think is it September or August? I don't know, but I'm doing like a really weird summer thing with my reading this year, sorry, where in June and July and August I am doing a summer of rereads. So I'll be reading like all of the books that I read when I was like 14, and then in September I am going to be reading just graphic novels, so I can definitely get around to reading these. Really, it's not really for me, it's for my blog. So obviously on WordPress you can backdate stuff, so if I end up reading one of the rereads tomorrow, at least I can schedule it for June. So in June, July and August, all of the blog posts are just going to be rereads. And then in September, all of the blog posts are going to be graphic novels. Wow, we diverged a lot there. So yeah, Lazarus, these are definitely high on my TBR pile for graphic novels. Then I brought Lumberjanes Volume 2. This artwork isn't really my type of artwork. I love much more realistic, dark artwork. Wow, okay. But you know what? It's fun. It's the same illustrator as Nimona, so we're gonna give it a go. I haven't read Lumberjanes yet. I really want to get around to it though, like all of the rest of these books. And finally, the last graphic novel that I brought was Bedlam Volume 1. And this is by Nick Spencer, Riley Rossmo and Fraser Irving. This is dark. This is about an asylum and police, and it's very creepy and weird. That's the artwork there. This is like the type of artwork that I like, the really gritty, dark, weird things, just like me. Yay! But no, this is about Fillmore Press was once Madder Red, a homicidal maniac and criminal overlord who ruled the city of Bedlam. Now he's been cured of his mania and says he wants to help protect the place he once terrorised. But can he be trusted? I'd say no. So those are the graphic novels that I brought in April. So I'm going to put these away and get the next lot of books that I'm going to talk about with you. Okay, so the next lot of books are my manga that I've brought. So recently I've been getting into buying more manga because I've been watching, or rewatching should I say, a lot of my old favourite shows, and I never actually got around to reading about them, so that's what I've been doing. I've been catching up on manga. So the first manga series that I started buying was Blue Exorcist. So we've got volume 1, 2 and 3. I absolutely love this anime so much. It's one of my favourite anime series of all time. I have watched it about 5 times. So I thought, you know what, it's probably about time that I read the manga. So I started buying them and I'm going to be reading them very soon. And it's also the same with Death Note. So I already have the black kind of spray painted pages editions, but I thought I'd also get the individual editions as well because I absolutely love the artwork on the front cover. So in April I brought volumes 3 and 4 to carry on with the series. So this is going to be something that I'm going to be getting around to very soon because I am 17 books behind on my Goodreads. And I need something quick and easy to fly through so I'm back on track. So that's what my manga's for. And the last manga book that I brought in April was the, oh, wrong way, Full Metal Alchemist, volumes 7, 8 and 9 in this 3-in-1 edition. I actually found this in a charity shop and I was like, oh my god, like it was £2 and normally they're £10. And I was like, yes, I'm getting it. I don't even have volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, blah 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 blah, but it's a good place to start. Again, I have watched Full Metal Alchemist God knows how many times. It is like on repeat in my house a lot, so it's about time I read the manga, which is what I'm gonna do to catch up on that Goodreads list. So that's the manga that I brought. Then the next thing I'm gonna show you are the classics that I've brought. Okay, so these are the classic books that I brought. So I brought a lot of these Penguin Deluxe, not Deluxe, what the hell am I on about? I brought a lot of these Penguin Modern Classic books. They're literally £1 each, which is amazing. So I brought Carson McCullers' The Haunted Boy, James Baldwin's Dark Days, Chinua Achebe, Africa's Tarnished Name, Gazdanov and Others, 4 Russian short stories, John Steinbeck's The Vigilante, George Orwell's Notes on Nationalism, fail. I can't pronounce the names, oh my god. Akutagawa and Others, 3 Japanese short stories. Oh my god, I am so dumb. And Martin Luther King Jr.'s Letter from Birmingham Jail. I am going to be collecting all 50 of these. They look very pretty on my bookshelf. So those are those ones. Then from the charity bookstore that I work at, I found this one. It's called Mrs. De Winter and it's by Susan Hill. And it's the sequel to Rebecca, which is by Daphne du Maurier. And I really liked Rebecca, so I am intrigued as to where Susan Hill goes with the sequel. On Goodreads, it's got like a 2 out of 5 rating, which made me very apprehensive because obviously people hated it, but then there were people who were giving it 5 stars and 4 stars saying that it was really good. So I was just in 2 different minds as to whether to get it or not, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it. I can't form an opinion on it if I don't read it myself, so I brought it. It was £1.50, so that's fine. Then I picked up this science fiction classic stories because I have opted to take a science fiction class next year for my final year of university, which is exciting. So in here we have illustrated stories of science fiction, obviously, because it says science fiction short stories. But in here there are stories by H.G. Wells, Edgar Wallace, Jules Verne, Mark Twain, Arthur Conan Doyle, Voltaire, Edgar Allan Poe, Hans Christian Andersen, and it's all in this illustrated bind up, which is cool. Then I brought Margaret Atwood's The Penelopiad, and you know what makes me happy is that the text literally fills 3/4 of the page, so that's going to be really quick and easy to read. But basically this is the myth of Penelope and Odysseus, and it focuses on Penelope, which is interesting because Margaret Atwood, feminist, can you tell that I've been filming for 3 hours because I just feel, wow, okay. So it focuses on Penelope because Margaret Atwood is a feminist queen. And then I brought Virginia Woolf's shorter fiction. I am not a fan of Virginia Woolf's writing. Her long novels just feel exactly like that, long, and she has this stream of consciousness way of writing that just isn't for me. So I'm thinking, well, in a short story she doesn't have that many pages to waffle, so I'm hoping that in the short stories I will enjoy them more because they're just to the point, hopefully. So I'm giving that a go. And then the next one that I brought was the Penguins Deluxe Classic Edition of Persuasion by Jane Austen, and it has deckled pages, and I actually found this in the charity bookstore that I work at, which was a brilliant find because normally the books are like £12 and I can't keep affording that much money, so I definitely had to get this, and I just love deckled pages so much. So those are the classics that I brought. Now we get on to the normal fiction, so the YA literature and stuff like that. So I'm going to put these back and show you all of the normal books that I brought. Also, you know what's funny? I have to find space on my bookshelves for all of these books, which is not going to happen. So after I finish this book haul, I'm going to have to, I don't know, put them in the loft or something, because this is now a thing on my bookshelf where I have completely run out of space and I am double stacking, which is fun. Okay, so there's a lot of these books, so I'm just going to dive right into them. So the first book is Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody, and this is book 1 in her new series. And if you recognise the name Amanda Foody, that's because she wrote Daughter of the Burning City as well. Naked, let's have a look, shall we? It's red, which is amazing, and it's basically about gambling and mobsters and magic, which is awesome and something that I really can't wait to get into. I actually teamed up with Pan Macmillan Publishing for the release of Genesis by Brendan Reichs, and they sent me a copy of Genesis to review. It was unsolicited, I didn't ask for it, they just emailed me and said, can we send you a copy? And I was like, sure, that's cool, that's completely fine with me. I loved Nemesis, the first book. I am very excited to get around to Genesis. I am currently rereading Nemesis at the moment, so I'm completely aware what's going on in the plot when I get around to this, and I have my little press release in the book there. I'm going to be getting around to this in the next couple of days, and then I can email Macmillan back and be like, yo, I finished the book and it was amazing, hopefully. I expect nothing less, to be honest. The thing is, I'd already brought a copy of Nemesis and then the publisher sent me one, so I have two. Then I brought Orphan Monster Spy by Matt Killeen, and this is about a Jewish girl and it's obviously set in the Nazi era, and she's a spy. She has to survive at a school for the Nazi elite and try and kind of act like one of them and infiltrate it, which is very interesting. And I've heard brilliant things about this book, and check how shiny that cover is. There's so many amazing books coming out and it makes me so sad because I've hardly got any time to read them, but now that university's finished I can just read really quick and get around to all of these amazing books. Then we have The Astonishing Colour of After by Emily X.R. Pan. This is a book about suicide and depression, so definitely trigger warnings for that. This is a big contemporary book. It's like 400 and something pages. I think, yeah, 450 pages, which is huge for a contemporary novel. They're normally like 300. I'm very wary to get around to this one because of its size, but you know what, I love a good contemporary and I love reading books about mental health because I suffer with my mental health as well, so I always look for good representation in books, and I've heard that this is absolutely gorgeously written. Then I also brought the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Adeyemi. I brought this one because it has an exclusive map, which is there, and it also has an annotated chapter, and this isn't exclusive to Barnes & Noble, but I couldn't find the hardcover in Waterstones. Look at that naked. Look at this book naked. Look how gorgeous it is. There's no words. So I haven't actually read Children of Blood and Bone yet, which is awful. I feel very bad about not reading it yet. It's just the hype around this book is making me very apprehensive because I know I'm not going to get let down because loads of people are saying that it's brilliant, but I'm like, what about if I don't like it? And that makes me sad. But you know what? Don't care because I will read this very soon. It's going to be amazing. And I think the second book is Children of Something and Vengeance, and Tommy Adeyemi actually released a video this morning on Twitter saying that she had just seen the cover for the second book and she was like screaming and running around her house, and I was like, no, I need to see this cover now, so I'm hoping she releases it very soon so I can have a look at it. Then I brought The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I actually received a arc of this book from the publisher and I read it a few months ago, and I did find that it was better than The Princess Saves Herself in this one. And the thing I love about this book is that the text is in red, and red's my favourite colour, so that just made me even more happy. But this is again another feminist poetry collection that deals with heartbreak, loss, but it also deals with more political elements this time of the women's marches, which is brilliant. I think I love poetry that focuses more on the political aspects of feminism because that's just what I'm interested in. This was very much an enjoyable read. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I was in town one time and I went into this shop called The Works where they sell like stationery, books, I don't know, stuff like that, and I came across the Talon series by Julie Kagawa, and they had the 4 books for, I think it was £10. So there's Talon, Rogue, Soldier and Legion, and there is a 5th book out actually. I can't remember what it's called though. There was 4 books for £10, so I was like, you can't argue with that. Then I brought Broken Sky by L.A. Weatherly, which is the first book in the Broken trilogy. I have actually already read Broken Sky. I've also read the second book, which is Darkness Follows, I think. And I do actually own books 2 and 3, but not book 1 up until now, of course. And I saw this in one of the charity shops that are in my town, and I was like, you know what, I just need this to kind of finish off the trilogy, so I brought it and now I have it. I do have a review for books 1 and 2. Then I have book 2 and book 3 in the Skullduggery Pleasant series. I read this series when I was about 11, I think, and I really enjoyed it. And Derek Landy is still going with writing these books. There's like a 10th book now, and there was only 5 when I stopped reading them, and I want to reread them. So I am rebuying the books because my mom sold them. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, so I'm rebuying them in these new covers, which are absolutely gorgeous, by the way. They're really, really nice. Slowly, I'm just kind of buying them up again, and these are just going to be kind of a childhood classic that I can return to in the months of June, July and August in my reread months. The next book that I brought was Dread Nation by Justina Ireland, which is about zombies and which is just awesome, and it has deckled pages, which is fantastic. I love it when publishers go all out to just give their readers this special reading experience. This is just one of my most anticipated releases of 2018, and I just know it's going to be amazing. There's too many books to read. So the next book that I brought was Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller, and this is book 1 in a new dystopia series that Jason Segel is writing. It's like a game and it's addictive, so it's like Ready Player One, I guess, but with obviously Jason Segel's own personal spin on it. So definitely one to keep your eye on. I love dystopias. I never get sick of dystopian novels, so I always love reading them. Then I brought The Fear by C.L. Taylor. She is a thriller mystery writer. She released her first young adult book a few months ago, I think. It was about 6 months ago, called The Treatment, and I have actually yet to read that yet. But this is her new one, The Fear, and her books are really compelling and they're so real that they scare you. So that's just why her writing is brilliant, and I thoroughly recommend that you check out C.L. Taylor's books because they are magnificent and will just keep you on the edge of your seat. Another thriller writer is Paula Hawkins, and I brought her book Into the Water. Paula Hawkins is the author of A Girl on a Train, which obviously was adapted into the movie with Emily Blunt. I did sort of enjoy Girl on a Train. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I read it a few years ago, and I'm just interested to see what Paula Hawkins comes up with and what she writes next, which is why I brought this one. I have been eyeing this series for so long, and I've just been wanting to read it for a long time, and that is The Land of Stories by Chris Colfer, who is from Glee, and this is book 1. It's called The Wishing Spell, and it's obviously a fantasy middle grade series, and there was a 3 for 2 on my local WH Smith, so that's when I brought those 2 Skullduggery Pleasant books, and I brought this one, and because I've been waiting to get around to this for ages, I think this is actually going to be very high on my TBR pile. So that is The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. Then we have one I actually thought was going to be the book for Fairy Loot, but it wasn't, and that was To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, and this is about sirens, which is a very interesting concept. I have just recently read The Wicked Deep, which isn't about sirens, but it's about the sea, which is also interesting for me because the sea terrifies me so much. I absolutely hate going in the sea when I'm on a holiday. Swimming pools, I'm okay, but lakes and the ocean, it just completely freaks me out. So reading books to do with the sea also scares the hell out of me. So yeah, To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This is also very high on my TBR list. Next up we have the sequel to Ink, and that is Spark by Alice Broadway. Check out that cover. I mean, Ink was gold foil and Spark is red foil, and it makes me so happy. I actually haven't read Ink yet, but I think it's a fantasy or magical realism book. I'm not 100% sure. Then we have another thriller that I brought, and I was accepted to have an arc of this book off NetGalley, but I downloaded it and it didn't download for some reason, and then I missed the cut-off point to re-download it, and that was Dear Amy by Helen Callahan. I just thought, you know what, I'll buy it. It was in the charity shop that I work at. It was cheap, so it's not like I was spending £8 on it. When it comes to thrillers, I try and get them in charity shops because it's kind of a hit and miss genre for me. But I thought since I didn't get to read the ARC, I'll read the finished copy instead. This is about kind of like an agony aunt character, and suddenly she's just sent these letters about how this girl's been kidnapped and she doesn't know what to do. So this agony aunt character, she takes it upon herself to find out what's going on and unravel the mysteries surrounding all of the letters that she's been getting. And the next book, and the last paperback book, shall I add, is a YA thriller book, and that is See How They Lie by Sue Wallman. I brought Lying About Last Summer by Sue Wallman quite a long time ago, but I haven't read it yet because I do have to be in the mood for a thriller book. But I am very curious about this YA thriller genre kind of thing that's coming out at the moment, and there's quite a lot of books that have been released. We've got Stags, that's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh my god, I'm just such an idiot. But yeah, and One of Us is Lying as well, and People Like Us, so that's another 2. I can think of some. And the last 3 books that I have are all hardbacks here. So the first one is Winterglass by Lexa Hillier, which is the sequel to Spindlefire, which I really enjoyed. It was a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, sort of. It had a very big kind of twist in it. I really did enjoy reading it, and I was very excited for Winterglass to come out, and this cover is gorgeous. So I can't wait to get around to this one either. I feel like it's going to be a year of reading sequels because there are a lot of them that are coming out. Then I brought Between Worlds by Skip Brettenham, and there is an app that you can download to follow this book that gives you like an augmented reality kind of feel. And this book also has a few illustrations in it, colour illustrations. So there is the one. This is a middle grade fantasy novel, which makes me very excited because I'm always on the lookout for different middle grade books to read, and I do actually really like reading middle grade fantasy. There is another illustration. I think there's about 12 of them just dotted around the book. I'm going to try and find another one for you. Here we go, that's another one. So I just think it's really good when authors put kind of extra oomph into their books, and Harrison Ford has actually blurbed this saying an unforgettable journey of magic and adventure, which is brilliant. And the last book that I brought, yes, it's the last book of this book haul, thank God, because I am so tired. I've been filming for 3 hours. So the last book for this book haul is Ink, Iron and Glass by Gwendolyn Clare, and this is about, well, it says here, a certain pen, a certain book and a certain person can craft entirely new worlds through a branch of science called scriptology. So it sounds like Inkheart by Cornelia Funk, where one of our main characters in Inkheart, when they read a book aloud, the characters in the book they're reading come to life. And it was also a movie with Brendan Fraser in, which is also very good. So it sounds a bit like that, which is interesting. So it sounds a bit like that and a mix between Ink and Bone, that's what it's called. So that's everything for my April book haul. I am very tired. My voice hurts. My arms hurt from carrying all the books. I have stomach cramps, which is fabulous. So I'm going to go and lie down and watch some TV because that's what I do best. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my April book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you've got any comments, questions or feedback, just leave them in the comments box below. I am going to try and get around to kind of filming and uploading the videos on Mondays, Tuesdays and Fridays, which was my old schedule, but there's still some personal stuff going on at the moment that is preventing that. So if you do want notifications when videos go up, just click on the bell icon below. And yeah, that's everything that I have left to say. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!